Hello, welcome to another edition of the Pace Report. I'm Brian Pace, reporting live here at the Weeksville Heritage Center here in Brooklyn, New York. Activist, Emcee, actor Pharoahe Monch, over the last 20 years, has continued the lineage of the origins of hip-hop music, beginning with his beginnings with the group Organized Konfusion in the 1990s with rapper Prince, now to 2011 with his brand new release, W.A.R, We Are Renegades. His latest CD includes the single Clap, which is getting a lot of hits and views, not only on YouTube as well as viewership on MTV. Tonight we're going to sit down and talk about, one, his origins in hip-hop, two, the direction of where this music is going, and three, W.A.R, We Are Renegades, his latest CD, on how he continues to elevate and raise the consciousness of his music to his listeners and fans.
You know what? Clap, clap on, clap on. Clap at him and I do not need applause. Rap nice in the center with no pause. Track prices bananas with no chorus. Yeah, suicide, murder. In the hood like catalytic converters, on the block like Lego, in the streets like street light. Little pigs is what I be on the streets like. In other words, the police. Say it like block the police. Fuck 'em. And that's straight from the underground. The little kids got it bad cause we brown. Now who am I, P-Monch from Do-or-Die? No, South Suicide Queens, where I get down. I beat the bandits in the street every summer. You may not play lotto, but you know these numbering. 105th, 103rd, my people's in Queens, no 113. We get the urge to get on some dog shot shit. My brain's a block clip, the lane be off the 1-800 cop shot. Say, talk to him, come on, section. Get together. It's one day, people got back. We went from niggas to porch monkeys, to Negroes to blacks, back to niggas again, yet niggas is still hungry. Abolish the N-word, the plan so poorly. The Homeland Security cams are all on me. They watch through the fiber optics, swords on me that cops get just running your spot quick without warning. To educate the man.
You've come a long way since Organized Konfusion. What was that out there tonight?
This was just a new, a new interpretation, and just, we've been backed into a fence in music where it's all about the stage, and so, I just try to bring some soul and some spirit and something that people could leave with that's organic, actually that transcends from the stage to the people. So that's just me trying to move you and make the people feel something.
Pharoahe, I've followed you since the inception, the beginnings, and it seems like now in 2011, with this latest project, it seems like you're much hungrier now.
Yeah, that is truth. That's truth, because I think the passion has always been there, just determination and a passion to be an artist is one thing. But then when you're put in a position of ownership and put in a position where you have to open your store in the morning, I say that because I'm independent now, and I liken it to being boutique and having a hat shop in Queens, or a hat shop in Brooklyn, or a pizza, cupcake, whatever the case may be. The situation is then placed in your hands. You have to wake up in the morning and open that store for business. If you want to sleep late, that's on your business. So my attitude now is way more mature, and it's come to fruition in that manner because when you're kind of working with the label, the era that we came up in, you're waiting for the label to do their part, and a lot of times they didn't do their part. So what's in my control right now is that stage.
This project is fantastic on many layers. One, you've always been on the social tip and the conscious tip, and it seems like now America right now is at a comatose stage, culturally, spiritually, and I believe politically. And I think you have said some things throughout your career, definitely on this CD, that just is very pertinent and very important for people to listen to right now.
I think so, man. It's like, I've always felt like this is a privileged chair to sit in when you compare the people who have a voice or a microphone in front of them to King and Malcolm and Jesus and the word coming from there. Yo, this is the word. This is what I have to bring forth. And now it's like we can reach so many people so easier in an instant. We do the show. It's not just these people that are here today. It's people filming. It's up on YouTube. People are hitting me from Germany like, yo, the show you did in Brooklyn? I'm like, this is crazy. So these words, to quote Chuck D, it's not just rhyming for the sake of riddling anymore for the most part. I understand that's a part of it, but I need to say something that's going to stick and have some shelf life. And 20 years from now, after I'm gone from this planet, you know, people could listen to some of these songs and take something from them. That's really what matters in art, you know. My personal gain, you don't want to struggle, you don't want to be a starving artist, you don't want to be an artist who gave so much and died in the alley on drugs. At the same time, you want to be conscious of what you're leaving behind. And this is the people who inspire me to do this, I hold in high regard. So now this music, I aspire to inspire. So I mean, that's really what you're getting. And I get a lot from that when people tell me the song provoked them to dance or to paint or to get a second job because they were having a kid. These are real stories. Whereas years ago I would have bounced on her, I got a second job because of push, because of desire, you know. That's real, you know. That's real stuff.
Hey, you can clip my wings, shackle and chain me, backstage said it told a child of God and I'm free. Yeah, put in my face, hold me down. I keep my feet firm to the ground 'cause I'm free. Listen, the A&R's a house, nigga, the label's the plantation. Now switch that advance for your emancipation. The season to feel like pink cotton for real. I pop lock like beat streets with a notch in the kill. They take the strongest of slaves to compete in the track meet. So the king of the city sang songs of backstreets. Choruses of cocaine sales and black heat. Only the trade niggas like professional athletes now. Take that merchandising, snatch that publishing, package that black ass shit you to London. Flies where your friends, Germany, Dublin. I railroad the underground like Harriet Tubman. Where y'all stay struggling, we smuggle MCs through the streets. So we bubbling on mixed CDs, hustling. Plan see me on the block, said freeze. I said, I'm a man, I'm free.
You can clip my wings, shackle and chain me, backstage sending toilet, call of God, and I'm free. Yeah, oh yeah, spit in my face,
Hold me down,
I keep my feet firm to the ground, I'm free.
I give birth to verses in churches with no confession. So please pardon my postpartum depression. A listen and C, put it in C-section. For immature minds to get it for each lesson.
I read that you practice your phrasing, or you've got your flow style through rhyming over John Coltrane's musics and his riffs. Explain that concept.
I mean, the one thing that struck me with his music and the rhythms and the phrasing was the abstract, what it evoked. You know, I'm like, what is he saying? You know, as well as the holding the notes. So as an asthmatic, I was drawn to that because I was like, if you played sax, you know, what your lung capacity would have to be to do that. So when I started rhyming, it was a way to combat or go against the asthma. Instead of being simple, I would push, you know, the phrasing or the runs or the lyrics or the flows to kind of mimic what he was doing. And it felt so passionate, you know, not just in the complicatedness or the execution, but in what was being said and what was being delivered. You know, same thing like Love Supreme, Naima, all of these songs you go back and listen to, and depending on your mood could have a reinterpretation of those songs. So that's why I was blown away by his stuff and was like, you know, I don't want my stuff to be that simple. And when you deal in melody and harmony, it's math as well. So you're definitely evoking emotion with people. This is why I you know, went ahead and started working with Mila, Show, and Gene, because, you know, I listened to songs that Coltrane did with Miles, and the simple harmonics of the trumpet and the sax and them playing, I'm just like, this is insane, you know what I mean? So that's the type of things how I wanted to move people with the words. Like, a lot of cats are really good with how they rhyme, but they don't make your hair stand up. So that's what I, you know, back Stress album with Organized Konfusion and Internal Affairs, I was like, I want to make people have goosebumps. How do you do that? You know, Chuck D would say something, I would, whoa, you know, like, whoa, like I'm moved by that. I want to go learn who Chesimard is. I don't know, but the way he said it, I want to know now, you know.
Man, do not get my block pistol blast your brain. $200,000 rips and chains. From your cop, crit, crack cocaine. Tupac, still feeling the pain. 7-year-old girl shot and slain. What does it all mean? We go insane in the struggle, stress, mayhem, and panic. Where I'm from, we do not eat organic. See, my mama cannot afford whole food. She breaks fast with a prayer, she call it soul food. Where I come from, let it breathe, bro. Talk to them, say, let's go. Where I'm coming from, no one's running. When fun's running low in lump sums, we choose to dumb, but it's done. We live in humdrum in the slums with some conceal stun guns. The birds run for fun, sun conundrums ain't pretty. In the cesspool called New Gooch. I call it that cause it smell like hit. Walk around hunchback or you might get hit. I knew this kid sold crack to his mom from 35 to 15. He sold crack to his kid. Looking like 300 coming back from his bed like Pharoahe. Let's get this money for real.
In my heart and in my mind, I'm gonna win in due time. Show me the way. Give me a sign and I'm gonna shine. 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 I'm gonna shine.
You coming up in the age of hip-hop, late 80s through the 90s, you lived and saw the evolution of hip-hop. I mean, hip-hop at a time had regions where it was the same, but it was different. Outkast said different things than the UGKs did. E40 and the cats out west, Souls of Mischief, they were different. What has happened to hip-hop now? Has the message changed? And what is going to happen to take hip-hop back to where rappers are saying stuff like yourself or MCs?
It's there, man, you know. It's a lot of talented, cerebral, artistic artists in their own right. And even when you talk about that era, talk about a massive amount of varieties of artists. And so, you know, it's a lot of really dope artists out right now, from this kid Rex to this kid Blue to Gene to I know she's been doing it, but she's relatively going to be new when she releases her first album. It's just, you know, Sean Price and a lot of...
What do you think of Brother Ali?
Brother Ali is another one. There's so many, you know, I don't mind what your content is as long as you put art or creativeness into the design of the content, from hardcore to street, block. I don't care what it is. What is inspiring me from, you know, Biggie Smalls to be like, man, I gotta go work on something different. You know, not what he just did, but so talented in the timing and in the pocket and in the cadence. You know, it's inspiring. So it's not about pushing an idea or, you know, the movement that I'm trying to push. It's about inspiring through your art. And I don't care what the content is. Me, I'm trying to be the change that I want to see. I'm not getting from it what I want to hear. I want goosebumps, and I want motivation and inspiration, and I want to talk about the things that, the wisdom that I've obtained and try and give back. I just don't hear a lot of it. It's really selfish right now. You know what I mean? So selfishness turns me off. You could give in your production, and you can give in the studio. I can hear, man, they must have worked really hard on this. No matter what the content is, that's giving to me. When it's just lazy and uninspired, I'm just like, this is what makes it redundant and stops the evolution of the art form, you know?
Going back to that period, the 90s was the period of the dynamic duos. EPMD, Grayson and Jason, you and Prince Poe, Organized Konfusion, Outkast. What was it about that time where the duos were just dominating hip-hop? Mos Def, Talib Kweli. It was just the dynamic duo period.
MOP, Tribe Called Quest, De La Soul, Company Flow. I mean, you know, I think that marketing-wise, you get more for your buck when you're talking about 2 people or 3 people or 4 people getting in the studio and compromising to make one thing for a solid reason. It's obvious when that magic happens what you get from that. It's, you listen to it like these dudes are complementing each other. There's a lot to be said for that in itself. It's worth paying for. I think you reach the era where, again, the economics change, the contractual things change, the show money changed, and you're like, what are we doing here? And it's got to be really special to maintain that, you know? And another thing that happened with the industry is the industry put together groups, or groups would get together to be separate. Now you're seeing a surgence of groups that are separate coming together with Random Acts and Slaughterhouse and 4 Horsemen, and, you know, incredible in their own right, but understanding the value of camaraderie and compromise.
That'll do it again for another edition of the Pace Report, reporting live here at the Weeksville Heritage Center here in Brooklyn, New York. I'd like to personally thank Pharoahe Monch for his time, as well as the staff and management here at the Weeksville Heritage Center. As always, please visit my website, www.thepacereport.com, for my weekly column as well as my past segments. Until next time, remember, if it's in the groove, it'll make you move. Until next time, peace.
We went from niggas to pork monkeys, to Negroes to blacks, back to niggas again, yet niggas is still hungry. Abolish the N-word, the plan so corny. The Homeland Security terms are all lonely. They walk through the fiber optics, swords on me that cops get just running your spot quick without warning. To educate the masses to follow is so boring. I sat in the back of my class and sleep snoring. Then they asked me why I'm vocal and adamant. Cause I lost my focus like Trevor Patterson. In the ghetto where it's impossible to escape, and the first obstacle is the tapeworm in my abdomen. Bitch, shut the fuck back. Full javelins and $5,000 bills in the face of James Madison. This is an American post-mortem. To focus on your bogus, no restoral for war on the crack.